And here we are. The highlight of this event, the most expected moment has come. In just a couple of minutes, we will share with you the future of access control, our patented access control technology. Over the last few months, we have tested and improved the concept to perfection. And now, it's time to go public. I would like to welcome Tomáš Vystavěl, Chief Product Officer. Hi, Tomáš, how are you feeling just before the big moment?
Hi, Štěpánka. Excited to share all the news with you.
Great.
So I'm a little bit nervous, maybe.
Oh, don't worry. So let's do it. Take the floor.
Okay, thank you. So hello and welcome. And I will start with a claim. Having mobile access in your portfolio is actually having a future in access control. In this presentation, I would like to share with you why we believe this is the truth, why we believe the mobile access control is the future of the access control industry. I would like to share with you current challenges that mobile access control is facing and how we actually meet these challenges to overcome them. And I would like to also share with you how to enjoy and benefit from our mobile credentials, how to start with the technology if you will be interested after my presentation. Every presentation should have some story, so I will start with the story. Imagine that you are going to a theater with your partner. Normally, you would end up at the door, the entrance to the theater, and there's a doorman asking you for a ticket. So if you're lucky, you will find the ticket in your pocket and you can enter the theater and enjoy it. If you're not, you forgot the ticket on your night table and you will have few embarrassing moments with your partner. How different this would be when the doorman would not ask you for a ticket, but instead of that, just told you, hey, Mr. Smith, welcome, enjoy the evening, the door's open for you. It's kind of VIP feeling, right? It's something which is, we call it frictionless, because you don't have to do anything special, you don't have to take the ticket out of your pocket, they simply know you. And that's actually how people or how our customers see the access control technology today. With all of the technology around us, cell phones, satellites, everything, they simply expect that we are at the point that it should be more convenient than just to have to look for the tickets or just to take a RFID card out of your pocket anytime when you want to enter some door. The technology should recognize you and should let you in without any special efforts. So that's the future of the access control. Make it very convenient and just open the door and walk through. Knowing that, I would like to take a closer look on the technologies that we have today that we can use to create such a frictionless experience for our customers. According to the Omdia report 2020 for access control, you can see that there are three fastest growing technologies today. First one is smart card technology, so classical RFID. Second one is biometric, and by biometric I mean facial recognition solutions, because they are the fastest growing out of the biometric ones. And the third one is Bluetooth. We can call it more general mobile credentials, because Bluetooth can be replaced in the future by some other radio technology, like, for example, today's emerging ultra-wideband. So let's take a closer look on each of these, whether it could be used as our technology to create the frictionless experience I was mentioning in my theater story. So I will start with the smart card technology. This technology is proven by time. It works everywhere, even in office environment, everywhere you want it. It is very reliable, it is very secure if right cards are used. It's also very accurate, actually 100% accurate to recognize the user of the card. But the main drawback is that it is inconvenient. You have to all the time present the card to the reader, just like you have to present the tickets in the theater to the doorman. So reliable, secure, but inconvenient. The second technology is biometric technology. It seems to be convenient from its nature because you don't have to carry on any credential with you. You are the credential. I am the credential, actually. My face is the credential. So it's very convenient because I can present just my face to the camera and it will let me pass through the door. But there are some drawbacks, even though the technology is really convenient. First of all, there are some ethical and privacy issues with the technology because you can't switch off your face. Second of all, there is always a trade-off between speed and the accuracy of the technology. The more accurate it should be, the less fast it is, and vice versa. So convenient, but privacy and ethical issues and trade-off between speed and accuracy of the technology. The third technology are mobile credentials. Mobile credentials are standing somewhere in between the RFID technology, the smart cards, and the biometric technology. Because it is very secure technology, it can be even more secure than the RFID technology because you have more computing power in the cell phone to implement more or better encryption algorithms or security algorithms. But also it is very convenient because you are carrying your cell phone all the time with you usually. So it's not like another credential that you have to carry on with you, but with a, let's say, good thing that you can switch it off if you don't want to use it, if you don't want to be identified. So there are some drawbacks. It seems that the technology is really convenient, but some drawbacks are still preventing it today to become the #1 of frictionless candidates. So let's see the drawbacks that we need to overcome to make it the best technology on the market. There are two sets of drawbacks today with the mobile credentials technology. First one is reliability of the technology itself. And the second drawback is the speed of the technology. When I was trying to look for feedback from the customers, I tried to go through different app stores and actually read out the comments of the end users of the technology among all of our competitors and even two-end solution. What I found is that for the reliability, the feedback is that it is not consistent over time. There's a lot of people that are complaining that sometimes it works, sometimes it's not working, so I can't rely on it. So that's the first major drawback. And with the speed, it's also that it's not consistent in time. Sometimes it is very fast, but sometimes I have to touch the reader, for example, or somehow initiate the door opening, and it takes so long to open the door that it is not, actually it's not convenient, but it's also frustrating for the users. So this ends up in the situation that what you get is actually not what you've expected, and that creates frustration. So we were standing in front of the decision whether to continue invest into our mobile credential technology or whether to choose, for example, some different technology that will not have these hurdles or pitfalls that we need to overcome. And we made a decision that we want to continue with mobile credentials, with the investment we made, and we want to make it much better, change it. There are three areas we have focused on. First two are pretty obvious. It's speed and reliability, because they were the most challenging for our end users. And the second or third area is security in office environment. Why in office environment? I will go through it later in my presentation, but this is third big challenge for mobile credentials because of the range. So the first area that we have pay our attention to was the speed of the technology. You don't realize how fast the technology is unless you will try to open the door and takes, for example, 1, 2, 3 seconds and then open the door. That's something that is okay, for example, if you use it in residential application, but if it's an office environment, everybody's in a hurry and it needs to be quick. Otherwise, you will start to create traffic jam in front of the door. Our average opening time today is roughly around 2 seconds. 2 seconds is not the worst, but it's not even the best today on the market. But what it is, it's something that will not make you really happy in office use. So we really tried to change the algorithms and the whole pairing mechanism and make it totally different from the current solution to make the speed better. The end result is something that I'm very proud of, because we got from 2 seconds, almost 2 seconds, to 0.3 seconds. 0.3 seconds, that's actually the fastest technology available today on the market. It's instant access. Once you touch the reader, we will open the door for you. This is just the graph, but that's why I have here these two access units, and I want to show you live what is the difference between the old technology and the new one. And I think you will recognize by yourself which one is which. So right now I will touch these readers, and you will see that this one is instant. Once I touch it, it opened the door. This one took like 2 seconds in average to open. So it really is a huge difference. It really is a huge difference for the user experience that you are just passing through the door, having no obstacles to do it. Just touch and pass. It's really frictionless experience. The second area of our focus is reliability of the technology. If you will go to a desert, you will choose the most reliable car you can because your life will depend on that. Well, on mobile credentials, it's not a question of life, but if you will got stuck in front of the building outside when it's raining, it's not a pleasant experience. So we wanted to make a lot of changes in the technology to make it really reliable so you can rely on it anytime when you are using it. What we did after those changes was the most extensive testing procedure we have ever performed in 2N with some new product. These numbers are talking for themselves. 125 testers, not just the testers on our test team, but even regular people in 2N using this technology every day. 100 phone types from 20 manufacturers. 44 doors polygon, and 5 months period of testing to make sure that the changes we made in the technology are actually leading us to most reliable technology on the market today. These are data we have obtained. This looks terrible. This graph is hard to read. That's why I will not show you this one. I want to show you this one, which is showing actually the results of the testing in a nice way. As I mentioned, there is no way that you will not get through the door. In 100% of cases, we will open the door for you. What these bars are showing is that if you have an iOS phone, meaning iPhone, we will open the door for you under 1 second. That's the instant experience of door opening in 99% of the cases. With Android 11 and 10, it's 96%, and with lower Android version 8 and 7, it's 92%. So it's better to use higher standards of the Android. Maybe there are two questions you may have. First one, okay, so what happened, for example, with iOS in that 1%, which is to 100? Well, what could happen is that, first of all, it will take more than 1 second, so it won't be within 1 second. It will take, for example, 1.5 seconds. And in a worst case, what could happen is that you will have to take the phone out of your pocket and tap in app. But this is really an edge case, and it happened in really few cases during those 5 months of testing. The second question could be with Android, whether it is usable even on older versions of Android than 8, for example. Yes, it is, but the percentage will be much lower, around 45%, and it's because lower versions of Android are not supporting the battery and radio management the way that is needed for such astonishing performance. And also, these are considered to be unsecure these days. So it's always better to go with the higher version of Android. And the third topic we have really paid our attention to was security in office use. Why I'm talking about security in office? Well, it's pretty simple, because if you remember the card I was mentioning for the office use, cards having a distance, or the range that you can read the card from is actually a few centimeters. But Bluetooth, the range of the Bluetooth is actually a couple of tens of meters, for example, 50 meters. And that creates situations that can be tricky for the security of the access control solution itself. Because, first of all, there is multiple readers and multiple phones within the range all the time. Because of the density of people and doors, actually, or access points within a typical office. Second thing is that with Bluetooth, it's very difficult to measure distance from the reader. we can measure the level of the signal that the phone is actually having to the reader, but the signal level really varies a lot. For example, if I'm going to have phone in my left pocket and I will just turn around my axis in respect to the reader, the signal will decrease so significantly that it's very unusable to measure precise distance from the reader. So what we did were really changes that are preventing to happen things like that. If somebody will touch the reader and there's multiple people within the range of the reader, we will open no matter who is actually trying to access the door. This is called sometimes unwanted door openings, that if I will pass through the door, but I'm still within the range, somebody else can pass through the same door using my credential. That's something that we needed to avoid. And how we did it, how it works, is actually seen in this video.
Here we can see side by side two access units. One is running the firmware which supports the current version of 2N Mobile Key. The other is running the firmware which supports the new version of 2N Mobile Key 3.0. Let's have a look at what difference there is in terms of speed to open the door. So you can see that with the new version of Mobile Key 3.0, the advancements we've made mean that the door really does open instantly. No more waiting at the door or risk of queues forming. The technological innovations we've applied to Mobile Key 3.0 makes the solution a whole lot more secure. We are the first and only provider to solve the problem of a phone granting access when it shouldn't do. For example, there's an authorized mobile in the vicinity of the door, but somebody without the mobile app approaches and touches the reader. 2N Mobile Key 3.0. Why forsake security for convenience when our solution offers both?
There was a lot of information said, and I think right now it's the time to tell you how we did it. What are the changes we made to the old technology to get to the new one? There are three main things we have changed. First one is actually the one that allows us to be so fast even in that challenging office environment. The change is that instead of having one device connected to the reader at the same time, so having every time when you touch the reader, make the authentication process, that takes time. We are having 8 devices connected in parallel to the reader, and we are pre-authenticating the phones to the reader once we will see them. Remember that I was mentioning that Bluetooth technology's got a pretty decent range of almost a couple of tens of meters. So once we see your phone by the reader, we can pre-authenticate, do all the necessary stuff that takes time before you will get to the door. And since we are able to determine when you want to enter the door, when you are close to the door, we can then make everything much faster. You may have 2 questions. First one is, we are mentioning 8 devices. What if there's 9 or 10 or 11 devices? Well, the algorithm is actually prepared for that situation. If there's more devices, we can circle between those devices, we can switch between them, and we are trying to pre-authenticate only those ones that are closest to the reader or are intending to enter the door. The second question you may have could be, well, you were mentioning that it's very difficult to measure the distance with the Bluetooth. It varies when I turn, for example. So how can you know which phones are actually close to the reader? Well, that's the second measure we have implemented to be able to know that you are actually intending to enter the door. And that is that we know whether you are approaching the door or going away. This is actually allowing us to pre-authenticate the right devices and also to prevent some of the unwanted door openings, because we know whether you are really trying to enter the door. So how we did it is that we are not measuring the level of the signal, because as I said, it fluctuates really a lot. But what we do is that we have implemented adaptive algorithm to measure signal level trend. So we know whether you are approaching and the trend is rising, or you are leaving and trend is decreasing. And adaptive means that for every phone, for every door opening, we are actually recording the information, so the next time we know better how your phone behaves. This way, in time, we can improve the experience because the reader is actually learning the surrounding about the installation environment, because it varies installation by installation. So the reader will really learn how to work with your phone to get better over time. And the third measure we have implemented or change is actually even improving the performance and preventing more unwanted scenarios like the door openings. For example, when I get to my office and I'm close to the door, what could happen is that when I turn around, as I mentioned, the signal level will increase. And the algorithm could see it as I'm approaching to the door and open, for example. That's why we have implemented the third measure, and that is device motion sensing algorithm. This algorithm is actually in your phone and actually can tell us that the person is walking. If you are just standing or just moving around like that, or if your phone is lying on your desk, we will not consider this phone as part of the algorithm, as part of the scenario, because we know that you are probably not walking towards to the reader, even though that the data may show that. So this way, the technology is really secure, even in this challenging environment like Office is. Again, a lot of information. So now there could be a question, okay, Amin, tell us how we can start with the technology. What we should do, what we do need to start with it. Good thing is that it's pretty simple to start with the technology. As you may see, these two readers are identical for the first appearance, and they really are identical. The hardware parts you need are the same that you may have already on your stock or you are using at your customers. Access units, any access unit we have or you already bought is compatible with the technology. Any intercom in our portfolio today or tomorrow with Bluetooth-enabled reader is capable to have this technology inside. Mobile key app that you have right now can be upgraded to the version that supports this new technology, and also Access Commander for bulk installations can be used as well. Only thing you need to do is upgrade it. Yeah? So once we will release this technology, you have to buy nothing special. You will just upgrade to the future of mobile credentials. So now the question could be when. I'm bought in, I want it, so when can I have it? Official release of this technology will be in April 2021, so it's pretty close. But if you can't wait and you want to have it even sooner, I have good news for you. We are, as usual, releasing a beta firmware a month before the official release that you can download to your devices that you are using, for example, for testing in your office. And you can start to play with the technology and get experience with that and familiar even before the official release. There was a lot of information in my presentation, and I want you to just take away 3 simple things, but pretty important things. I want you to remember that 2N today has got the fastest mobile credential technology on the market. 0.3 seconds in average to open the door. You could see it on your eyes. The second thing is that it is 100% reliable. Remember the graph I was showing you? The instant access in 95, 99% in average is something which is unlike anything to the market right now. And you will get inside the door in 100% cases. And you can use it in an office environment that is really demanding on technologies like mobile is because of the range. And we have managed to overcome most of the hurdles that you can meet in such installation. As the end of my presentation, I would like to give you a call for action, and I want you to explore this technology with us and upgrade to the future of the mobile credentials. Thank you very much.
So what do you think? I must admit that we at 2N have been testing this technology over and over again. And honestly, we can't be more satisfied. I hope you will have the same experience. And this is not the end. So far, we have been talking mostly in theory. And now it's time to look at the practical side as well. Stay with us for the last presentation.